YouTube! Look at me, I'm all HD! So yes, I've been gone for a while. It's been pretty hectic around here for the past 3 weeks. I've had a load of essays to do, but they're all done now. Today I'm going to talk to you about last weekend and my journey around the south of England. So quite a while ago, Nat and I were asked to film Jonas's mum's wedding. And we said yes because filming stuff is fun and so are weddings, especially if they have open bars. It was only as the date drew closer that we realised, oh yeah, we don't own any decent camera equipment. Luckily I had a fair bit of my loan left, so I decided to buy the 60D you're seeing me through right now. Isn't it shiny? But I felt that wasn't enough. Everyone needs a backup plan, and thus we needed another camera. Luckily, good old Bevan came to the rescue and offered us his 60D as long as I could travel down to Southampton and get it from him. And thus my journey began. I had to make it from London to Southampton to pick up Bevan's camera, then back to London to pick up my stuff, then to Maidenhead to pick up my new camera, and then finally on to Oxford to film the wedding. I woke at 6 Thursday morning unable to sleep. My train to Southampton wasn't until 11:30, but I knew I would never get up if I went back to bed again. So I started to get my stuff ready, all the while being harassed by drunk people who had been out the night before, not realising that as they were about to go to bed, I had only just woken up. I had a brief breakfast at McDonald's and then travelled along to Waterloo, the Rooster Teeth podcast keeping me company on the journey, as I travelled along with the people who actually had work at that time in the morning. I know, horrible, right? I managed to amuse myself by reading the safety information beside the doors and then looking smugly around the carriage as if to say, don't worry guys, in case of an emergency, I got this. I'm a superhero waiting to happen. I arrived at Waterloo at 9 AM just in time for the alarm I set to wake me up to go off. I then realised I had 2.5 hours with absolutely nothing to do. It wasn't a bad feeling, it was actually quite nice. I walked down to the south bank of the Thames and decided to go for a little stroll when I was stopped by a man with a piece of string. He asked me to hold the loop that was at the end, and I realised it was actually 3 pieces of string, all in different colours that he was using to wind together to make a bracelet. He asked me to watch the bracelet, and in typical me fashion, I thought this was a ploy to keep me distracted while someone snuck up behind me and stole all my stuff. As he wound it, he told me it was to give me good luck in my life, my love, and my jiggy, and then told me to make a wish when it was done. But he also told me that if I give the bracelet to my girlfriend, then I will never get any jiggy, no way. He asked me where I was from and I said Berkshire, since no one ever knows where Maidenhead is, and then he said he was from Ghana. And then he asked me if I ever been to Ghana, and I said no. So he said next time I come past he'll take me to Ghana with him, and I said, oh yeah, okay, yeah, sure. And when he was done, it turned out like this. I think it's pretty cool, even if it doesn't give me good luck in my jiggy. I gave him £1 for his efforts and hurried away down the road. When I was a few metres away, I decided I was going to check my bag just to make sure it wasn't a scam, so I sort of casually put my hand in my bag, feeling around to see if I could find my wallet. But after a while, when I still couldn't find it, I got a bit panicked and started to pull it open and root around inside, desperately hunting for my wallet. And then I found it, and I relaxed. And I tried to find somewhere else to walk. I walked around in a big circle back to Waterloo Station, trying to avoid Bracelet Man just in case he took me off to Ghana. But by the time I arrived, I still had an hour to wait till my train, so I just sat outside, by a tree, listening to podcasts. It was nice. Then it was train time. I got on and set myself up for the 2-hour journey ahead of me. It wasn't a bad trip, not as bad as the journey back, but I'll get to that. I arrived at Southampton where I was met by Bevan, Crystal and Luke, and then we wandered into town and talked about YouTubes and rape alleys and then had lunch at Yates. And then we went to the park and played frisbee in the blistering hot sun that I am definitely not well suited for. I'm a vampire, see? I got true blood to prove it. Despite the fact that I was there to collect camera equipment and lug it all the way to Oxford, I still had a really great time, even if it was only for a couple of hours. But of course, the fun times had to end and I still had to get on a 2-hour train journey back home. Or at least it was supposed to be 2 hours. After 2 stations, the train just stopped. Apparently there was a signal failure. A signal failure that took 67 minutes to solve. You could tell it wasn't just the passengers annoyed, as the driver kept coming on the tannoy system grumbling about how they were not telling him what's going on. I decided to spend the journey worrying about my phone's battery life slowly draining away and contemplating the meaning of the bracelet I now wore. I came to the logical conclusion that if the making of the bracelet was not a ploy to steal my stuff, then it was now a marker for some future thief to spot and know I was a worthy mark. This worried me a little, so I spent the rest of the journey with one hand on the camera and the other on the tripod that Bevan lent me. Eventually I made it back to London, got my stuff and then went off to Maidenhead, where I promptly fell asleep, ready for a new day and a new journey. This video is getting a little long, so I think I'll cut it here. I'll continue tomorrow. Maybe that'll make up for the weeks I missed. I'll see you tomorrow, YouTube. Bye.